Hey there. This is Dr. Pam Perry, and I'm so excited. This Pam Perry's pick is all about unlikely neighbors with Renee Daniel Flagler. And she's going to be on today talking about this and other things. If you are a speaker, you're an author, you're multi passionate about work that you love to do, whether it is in marketing or nonprofit, she will tell you how you can pull it all together. So, right after this, I'm going to bring up Dr. Renee Flagler.
Hey yo, kick back, relax, let's dive in the page. Pam Perry picks got the books for your brain. From fiction to non-fiction, all genres insane. We coming through showing love to the lit game. Greatest stories ever told, gotta find your pick. Imagination running wild, ain't nothing slick. Get lost in the pages, let your mind drift. Pam Perry picks got your brain in the bookshelf vibe. Turning the pages with pride. Pam Perry picks got the words by your side. Bookshelf vibe, turning pages with pride. Pam Perry picks got the words by your side. From the classics to new, we got the books for you. Get your mind right, let the knowledge accrue. Bookshelf vibe, expanding horizons by Pam Perry kicks, keeping readers satisfied. Books up high, knowledge we can't deny. Get your reading on, just book one fly. Click cover image.
Hey there. So we are on Amazon Live as well as LinkedIn Live, and we're also on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So we are live. And right now, my Amazon Live is not letting me be great today, but that's okay because we're still going to do this anyway, Renee. We're still going to do this anyway. So Unlikely Neighbors is the new book. This is the new baby. But I want people to understand a little bit about who Renee Daniel Flagler is, because you have what I call a multi-passionate career. Right now, you are the president of CARES Mentoring, which you had an event with Susan on the cover of Speakers Magazine. That was in February, but the event was in March, and that I can't find the magazine right now, but that was fabulous. And that was really, here it is right here. Okay. And you did the interview and it was fabulous. It was a fabulous event. Just so that you know, it was celebrating 20 years. But before that, you're a speaker. People have asked you wrote a book that is in the Amazon Live about the dreams journey. You're award-winning poet, novelist, probably a film writer as well. So kind of give us a little bit of your background, because a lot of people have all these dreams, but they don't know how to make them come true. So you have done all the things. So kind of give people a little bit of background of where you started and how you kind of knew you were going to be doing all these things. Uh-oh, let me get you unmuted. Unmute.
Okay, first of all, now that you can hear me, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity to speak with you again. I really enjoyed myself last time. Who am I? Okay, I'm a lot of things. I will always say first and foremost, I'm a child of God. But a lot of the things that I do really stems from one particular place, and that's the thing that I'm passionate about. So I live what I call my own dream journey. And that means that I get to get up every single day and do exactly what I love to do. And I get paid for it. Like,
that's where everybody wants to be.
That's where everybody wants to be. And so what that is writing and serving. So that's my passion. And the way I arrived at it is I thought writing was just something I enjoyed to do. And I went through a series of like these life situations and realized it was more than that. It was a passion. You know, I was in marketing, and in the marketing industry in early 2000s was like a really hard place to be. Marketing, publicity. I'm sure you're familiar. After 9/11, that's the first budget that many of the companies would cut.
Exactly.
And so I got laid off like 4 times. But in the midst of that, I would get a job and get laid off, and I'd work a couple of months and get laid off again. But in the midst of that, I was like, all right, God, what am I supposed to be doing? There's a lot of things that I like. I have a lot of talents, but I know I'm not supposed to be spreading myself so thin.
That part right there. So let me just say that. So you took inventory of yourself after being laid off 4 times. You were in a career that you love, but you said to God, what is it I'm supposed to be doing? Most people don't ask that question, Renee. You know that, right? They
Yes.
just say like, let me just go and get me a job so I can pay these bills.
Get
That's what I'm
another
supposed to
job.
be doing.
And I
But
did
you
that.
ask God,
Mhm.
what am I supposed to be doing? That's a
Yeah.
brave question because you've got to be prepared for the answer. Okay.
Oh,
What if they
yeah.
say you're supposed to go on a mission trip? Okay.
Speaking of being
I-
brave,
yeah.
Speaking of being brave, when I said, "What am I supposed to do?" and he showed me, that it was writing, and I said, "Now, give me the opportunity." And I got laid off again. So you're right. You got to be brave because you don't know you don't know what's coming.
Right.
But it was writing that led me to service. So I'd written my first book, came out 2004. I was asked to come in and talk to a group of young people at a middle school because they had never met a writer that looked like them. So I
Mm.
went, and that just sparked something just totally different, so totally new. I loved being in a room with these young people and being inspired by them when they were supposed to be inspired by me.
Now that's
And then
tough.
after that,
Let me just say, middle
mhm.
school is probably the roughest crowd you can ever be in front of.
Oh, it is for
Oh yeah,
sure,
yeah. Because
for
they
sure.
they gonna roll their eyes. They'll let you know if you're boring. They will just tell you straight up that you stink. Whatever they do. The
Exactly.
babies won't so much, and the high schoolers know how to be polite. But
A
the
little
middle
bit more
schoolers,
cordial, but middle
yeah.
schoolers, whole different situation. And so after that, I was asked, I think by the same folks, to come in and do a writing workshop with a group of young women, teenage girls who were either runaways or pregnant teens that were, unhoused. And when I went in there the first day, they were like, "Okay, who's this lady?" And then by the time we were over, I didn't want to leave, and they didn't want me to leave. And I was like,
Mm,
"This, my passion was writing, but it led to me to my purpose, and my
mm.
purpose was serving young people,
Oh
and
my
that
god!
changed my life."
Now, how many years ago was that? That had to be
2005,
okay.
2006,
Okay, all right.
and
I'm loving how this ends up. But okay, go on, go on.
yeah, and it changed my life. And after that, I knew that if writing was my gift, that I could write, but I had to use it for my purpose. And
Mhm.
so I went through this transition, leaving corporate America, first starting by finding volunteer opportunities and doing as many writing workshops with young people as I can. And then I ended up going to school and was able to take advantage of this opportunity to develop writing curriculum. I went through this process to learn it, became certified, and
Mhm.
started working with nonprofit organizations that had writing programs or that did arts and education programs for students in schools.
Ah,
And
and this
so,
was in
right,
New York? This was
yep.
in New York?
Mhm.
There's a lot of arts. Well, I guess it's probably everywhere, but New York is like the hub of creativity. So, okay, so that's good, that's
Yes.
good. Mhm.
And so that led me into nonprofit service. And I would work with these organizations. I would write on the days that I had off. And then the days I didn't have off, I would be doing lesson plans. I'd be in schools. I'd be doing writing programs for the schools. And that led me to Girls Inc., some other nonprofits, and now
Mhm.
where I am. So I have all of my nonprofit career, I've been working in service to young people.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I'm like, because we didn't talk about that before. We only talked about Cares Mentoring before, but
Right.
now to see the journey, it was
Mhm.
like, and this is just to inspire other people too. And because you wrote the book Dreams Journey. But when there's a door that keeps closing,
Mhm.
ask God, what
Mhm.
is it I'm supposed to be doing? And
That's
when you
right.
did that, it led to other things, which leads to you being president of Cares Mentoring, and then also
Mhm.
birthing these books right here. Okay,
Yes,
birthing these
yes.
books right here. And you had some poetry books as well, the
Mhm.
nonfiction book, you were in some anthologies. And how many people have you helped write books as well? Young people who have birth books because you've been their midwife, I guess you would say.
I can't, you know what? That's a good question. And I can't count because for many years, I worked with young people from K through 12,
Okay.
writing, doing curriculum development. And I've worked with every population of young people. I have worked with young people in inner city schools from the South Bronx to Red Hook, Brooklyn, to workshops and conferences, group homes, prisons, drug treatment centers, all types of group homes for like secure placement homes for young people. And so with the school programs across many schools across New York City and all the boroughs. So I couldn't even count how many young people I
You have
actually
birth.
worked with as far as writing is concerned. And I still do that. I still sometimes get called to schools to do programs, and whether it's a couple of weeks or just do a visit, and I'll go and do, some poetry work with them. So it's definitely well into the hundreds of young people that I have specifically had the blessing of working with directly when it comes to literacy, writing, journaling, poetry, just helping to increase, that their knowledge, doing work in Common Core under the writing across the curriculum
Mhm.
programs. So hundreds,
And,
hundreds.
in the middle of you writing your own books as well. So
Right.
that's
Right.
the other thing.
Yes.
So God doesn't waste anything. So I want to ask, how did the marketing career that you had before you started really doing this type of work, working with youth, mentoring them, helping them with writing, your writing passion,
Mhm.
writing probably films and that kind of thing as well. We'll get into that. But how have you used that previous career in what
Mhm.
you're doing now?
So you're trying to make me shout up in here, but I'm gonna keep it cool because you're right.
You
God
don't
doesn't
waste
waste
nothing.
anything. And I have
Mm-mm.
to say that that background in marketing has been truly instrumental in just helping me get my name out there,
Yes.
get the books
Yes.
out there, to market myself, to create a platform.
There
And
you
it
go.
also helped with the book that you
Your
spoke
speaking
about,
career. Hmm.
Dream Journey,
Yes.
right?
I love
It
that. I
was,
love that cover. I love that.
thank
I
you so much.
yes. So you all have to click the Amazon Live and get that book too. Okay. That's the book to kind of like jumpstart if you want to actually live your dreams. So okay, go on,
Yes.
go on. The marketing, let me just say this, Renee. The marketing is in everything. So no matter if you can be the best writer and you can publish a book, but if nobody knows about it, it doesn't matter.
Mhm. Yes.
So many authors, and they will say, "I've written a book." They typing in their own little cave, and it's like written a
Right.
book, and then it's like, okay, when
Now
when's
what?
it get published? Next month. Can they get me some PR? And I'll go crazy, right? And
Right.
you just like a month, really? And so tell people the process, the real
Mhm.
process of how long it really takes for that journey for an author to build a platform to promote a book. So this book right here is Afterglow Books, which is a division of Harlequin.
Mhm.
Harlequin does not just say, okay, Renee, write a book, and then a month you out there promoting it. Is
Right.
it a year? Is it how long is the process when they decide to acquire your book, acquire your manuscript, or just
Mhm.
give me the process?
You got it. So it could be anywhere from, depending on whether your book is finished or not. If it's finished, it could be anywhere from about 18 months to 2 years,
There
right?
you go. There
Yep,
you go. And why is
absolutely.
that? One, they're
So
positioning it.
exactly. It's everything. So, once the book is written, and like I said, if the book is finished, if the book is not finished, if you've gotten the book deal on a proposal, which really doesn't happen that much anymore, you got to
Right,
first write the book, right?
right.
But once that book is written, it then goes to the publisher and through the editorial process. And that takes a couple of months, right? So you're
Mhm.
one of, think about how many books Harlequin is publishing. So I'm
Hundreds.
one of how many books coming out for one particular month. Now add that up to the year. And so there's that process takes a while. You have your developmental edit, which is the real hard edit, right? When going into the nitty gritty and developing the book, making sure that it's the best book that it can be, making sure there's
Mhm.
consistency in the timeline and
Right.
characters and no plot holes and all of that stuff. Then it comes back to you. You have to review it again and make any edits that you need to make or respond to those editorial notes. And they give you time to do that. Sometimes it takes a couple of weeks to kind of go through all of that and make the changes depending on how heavy that editorial note is. And those editorial notes doesn't mean that you didn't do a good book, but it's like all the questions that could come up, all the suggestions from the publisher, and then sometimes it sparks things in you like, oh yeah, well, if I change this, it's going to make a difference in this. And then you change. So that can take a couple of weeks. Then it goes back to them for like that next level of edit, which is more technical, making sure they're dotting the I's and the T's and all of that stuff. And then it comes back to you again, you review it, and then it goes through like copy editing, which is really all about proofreading and finalizing to make sure that grammatically and no, there's no typos. That's like the final edit. So you've got like 3 to 4 rounds of edits.
And what about
Then
the title?
right.
Does the title
And
say
that's
that?
yep. In that process, sometimes you're developing a title. Sometimes you agree in the title in the beginning. Sometimes through that edit process, you're getting an email from your editor, and they'll say, "Hey, suggest some titles," or they'll have some suggestions, and you'll go back and forth on that to choose a title.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into like production. And so the book has to go into production, and the books have to be ready to go, even though your pub date may be, let's say, September. Those books need to be ready 3 months prior to that, because then they have to be shipped to different
They
locations.
have to market it.
They have to exactly. And so you do a lot of marketing too, and you want to get to people before the book comes out. So think about when a new album comes out, and then that week the album drops, that artist is like on every station. That takes time.
Yes.
Right? You have to reach out to these stations and everything well in advance in order for them to get the booking during that date, or during that week that it's dropping. And so you'll get the books in advance, several months in advance. You have the opportunity to send it out to like publishers, and, so your editor may be, your publishing house may be doing that. You may have people, bookstores and stuff that you want to promote it to, so that when the book drops, everybody has it, everybody's ready, everybody knows about it. And then whatever media you want to be able to, book to help you launch that has to be ready when the book drops.
And Publishers Weekly gave a blurb. That doesn't just happen. Publishers Weekly is like the holy grail. And so they gave a good review for this book. Now that probably had to come at least 6 months before it actually, what I'm saying?
That was several weeks. Yeah. Because remember, Publishers Weekly is really for the industry. So Publishers Weekly is letting the industry know, hey, this is a good book. So the librarians, the bookstores, and all of that. And if they say, oh, thanks, Publishers Weekly, let's get the book, they need time to order the book, to get the book in, to stock it, all of that stuff.
That is the whole process of that right there. You could just teach that process right now to people, to authors who are writing books, to realize that it does take, when you said everything needs to be in it's synchronized. When the book drops, that they need to know exactly who, if we're setting up podcast interviews, if you're setting up book clubs, okay, so let's just say the book club only has 1 book a month,
right?
And they've already got 3 books that they've already picked for the next 3 months, and then you can't come to them the month your book comes out and say, hey, I like to be a part of your book club. It's like, well, we've already picked our books for the next 3 months. You gotta wait. And so now you're mad. It's like, I can't get any bookings because you didn't do it in advance. So
you can get it, but it won't be when your book drops. And you really want to make a big bang when the book drops.
Yes, that is really, really key. One of the things that I've seen that, and this is a nonfiction book, so it's kind of different, and she has a podcast, is Emma Grede. So Emma Grede, her book dropped, and then she was on Oprah, she was on Sarah Jakes, she was on Jay Shetty, all within the couple of weeks of the book. She was in different magazines. I'm like, okay, but it was synchronized. It's like a whole dance. But then her background was in marketing. So that's part of it as well. So not only do you have to be a good writer and a good storyteller, which is really what this book is, I'm telling you about the story, but you also have to be good at marketing. So like I said, your background doesn't waste anything. And so I'm just really like excited about the fact that you use all the pieces, but you're using it to not just for you, but you're sharing how you do it and how other people can do it. So a lot of people may be in a C-suite, executives, and they're feeling like there's something different that needs to happen. There's a shift that goes on, whether it's a health scare, kind of getting into the book. It's like, I need to step out and do something different, right? It's like, oh, I just was diagnosed with, cancer. And it's like, I've got to, I'm not going to die, but it was enough to just wake me up and say, hey, I don't want to spend my life trying to uh, immigrants. One of
Right.
my favorite movies, this is a sidebar, was Last Holiday with Queen Latifah.
Yes.
And
Oh my God. I love that
I
movie.
love that book. It always inspires me
That
because
book
she
made me
wanted
want to
to
go to
be a
prom.
yeah, she wanted to be a chef so bad, and at the end, she met her most famous chef, and this and that, because she thought she had a brain tumor, and really she had like a bold scan. It was like
Right.
dirt on the X-ray. so, so she thought she had a brain tumor, and so she took all her money that she'd been saving like a little squirrel forever, and then took it and went to, I think, Switzerland, and
Mhm.
just lived
Decided it
her
was
dream.
time to live. But
Yes, that
I
is
try to encourage people, live now. Live like,
living that.
let me tell you something. I say this all the time. When I go, don't cry for me, because I'm going to squeeze all the juice out of this life that I can.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
when I'm gone, like if I things don't even stay in my bucket list, I put it in a bucket, then I take it out. I'm like, I'm gonna do that.
That's it.
You
That's
gotta
it.
live.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's one of the things. So this book right here, Holland Davenport is ready to go beyond her small town existence, right? That's why I said about last holiday. Her plan involves moving to an apartment in Charleston, not inheriting a rundown brownstone in Brooklyn from a relative she never knew. Okay. Yet, in a burst of daring, Holland meets and challenges head on, moving to New York to learn more about her family and renovate the place. Add to that a gorgeous next door neighbor who turns out to be a board member at her new job, and She's definitely out of her depth. So his name is Noble Washington, is a successful CEO of a company he spent a decade building, but his carefully ordered life begins to unravel the second he meets fiery social worker Holland and spends one unforgettable night with a woman who should be off limits. There's a wall in a world differences lying between them, but sheltered Southern and ambitious native New Yorker feel a pull that won't just be denied. And they said the book is spicy. I'm like, okay, how spicy? Too spicy for the church book club. Okay, that's it. So it's spicy. So it is. I saw when I was reading it, it's like I see it as a movie. I want it to be a movie, and I've already picked some of the characters, like Idris. I
Who,
think maybe one, and like kind of thing. I was like, okay,
okay, who did you
so
pick?
yeah, yeah. Idris is one. I'm always like loving Angela Bassett for everything. So, if I'm a casting director, it's like, well, she can't be in everything, Pam. It's like, oh, she can act. She can do
She
anything.
can.
She can
She
do anything
definitely
because she's so
can.
sassy. She got this kind of like fiery thing, So when you see fiery, I just immediately think, of her. But yeah, this right here. So Brooklyn is where you're from. Are there any hints? I always ask this for every novelist. Are there any hints of people that you have met, or are they all in your head, or is this part of you? What
Okay.
what's the story?
So the people are usually a combination of like people I've met and people I've made up in my head, right?
Okay, okay.
So that's the fun part.
Protect the
Like, even
innocent.
if it's
Protect the
someone
innocent.
I know, it's like that's the inspiration. But by the time I start putting the character together, it's like no longer the person that I'm actually talking about, thought
Okay.
about, but somebody totally different that was just totally created. Um, but this book is a little bit special. And I think I was going through an emotional thing when I was going through this book, right? Because there are a lot of references here that come directly from my life.
Huh?
South Carolina is where my ancestors come from, been there since 1790. My mother was born there. My grandmother raised her children there. Florence is one of the towns that I still have family in.
Yep. That's where they were
I
from.
was born and bred in Queens, but I spent much of my childhood back and forth between
Brooklyn.
Queens and Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
My auntie, Elsie, I named the character after my real aunt Elsie.
Okay. Okay.
And Aunt Goldie is actually the name of another aunt that, so it was like I kind of like brought people through the book. And so there's
Mm-hmm.
some folks that I gave the names and the essence of that person because I was just honoring them. They passed on. So there's like real life interweaved in there. And most importantly, Holland's situation with the cancer and the BRCA, I was very purposeful and very intentional in doing that. I had a friend who had that situation where she was she went and she thought she would, had cancer and she would diagnose, but she found out that she had that BRCA gene, that hereditary gene that predisposes her to female cancers like breast cancer and ovarian cancer and uterine cancer. And she had to make the very, very hard decision of getting a double mastectomy and a hysterectomy and everything. I mean, she went through a very tough time. She had like 6 surgeries in 3 years. But it was to raise awareness, because I had never knew about BRCA, and it's so many women who are walking around with this gene and they don't know they have it. They don't know that they're predisposed to cancer. So I just wanted to raise awareness to that. So that piece was to honor my girlfriend.
Oh, that is good. That is good.
Mhm.
Yeah, when you've got to, if you can, get the book, buy the book, but also get the audiobook as well. The audiobook gives it a little bit more drama. You didn't do the audiobook. You had characters do that, or actors, I guess you
Yeah,
say.
I don't even
Do the
get to
book.
choose them. I don't even get to choose them. I wish
But
I
they
would have
were
gotten to choose
actors.
them, 'cause I think it could have been a little bit of a sexier voice for Mr. Nova Washington.
But they were actors. So when you're listening to
Mhm.
it, the theater of the mind takes over. So you
That's
can
right.
definitely have that. If you're going to go on a road trip, definitely you would be there in no time, because it's like you don't want it to end. So that's really good. That
That's
so
right.
so you have other books that I put in the Amazon Live as well. So
Mhm.
talk about the Second Wives Club as well. So talk a little bit about that.
So that's what I have here. This is my version that you see all the tabs.
Yes,
When I
yes.
go to events, I'll read from different parts, whatever. So, Second Wives Club is the story of 3 women who are all their husband's second wives. This book came out of, sometimes I get inspired by headlines, and this book came out of a headline that said 60% of American households were blended families. And so I thought about mine. I have a stepson. That's my bonus baby. He's amazing. I mean, he's not a baby. He's a grown man in his 30s, but that's my bonus baby. Um, two of my sisters, actually, yeah, 3 of my sisters were either married, remarried, and so when I looked at my family, we had a higher percentage of people who were either married, remarried, had children before the marriage, and they were blended families. And so
Mhm.
I created this scenario where, what do these different blends look like? And so one of the blends is, you know, the new wife is half the old wife's age, the former wife's age. We know what kind of dynamic that can create.
Mhm, mhm.
We have the situation where the first wife feels entitled to everything because she was the first one. She has the first child, and it's
Mm,
like she's kind of like won't really get out of the way, right?
mhm.
And then we have the scenario where the wives are buddies, they're friends, they hang together, they chill out together, they vacation together until something happens and it starts to unravel, like make them question like the loyalty.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
it's 3 very different scenarios.
Mhm.
And when you look around the world, you can like name. I've gone to book clubs and they're like, yeah, this one is like my sister and her husband, and this one is, you just relate it to real life.
I don't know any wives that hang out with the other wife.
But
That's
I
the
know what? 2. I know
I
2
don't
that
know
they're
that
just
one.
so cool and close. They hang together. One the couple decided to move and they told the wife and they were like, "Oh my God, we just wanted to let you know we wanted to move." And she was like, "Oh, I was thinking about moving too. Where you guys moving? Atlanta? I was thinking about Atlanta too." They went and looked at houses together.
Oh my God. That's a whole nother dynamic right there. That's a whole nother dynamic. That could have been a whole book by itself. It's like, how does that work?
Exactly.
But anyway, because when you divorce, it's like you usually divorce and you don't want to have nothing to
You
do
don't
with that
want to have nothing
person,
to do with
much
them.
less their
Mhm.
new spouse, right? But anyway, but yeah,
Yeah.
women are
Yeah.
we're so
But
emotional.
I love exploring complex dynamics in like familial and friendly relationships.
Mhm,
And so
mhm.
that's my new book is all about that. I'm calling it the anti-romance because it's really not, it's like what happens after the romance, right? It's like
Yeah.
in most romances, it's like boy meets girl, boy, they fall in love and that's great. This one is like, you know what? How do you stay in love?
Mhm.
And with everything going on in life, and what does that really look like? What does successful love really look like? And it really looks like dealing with each other through the strain and returning.
I
It's
love
the
that.
choice.
I love that. Well, I love what you're doing and how you're blending everything together. You're blending your previous career with your writing, with the youth, with then taking the time to go back to school. That's a whole nother thing right there. And writing curriculum, because that is now just really, really quick. We got a couple of minutes. So this you went back to school before AI.
I
I
did.
don't know how you have done any of the training or any of the, helping people right now with the AI things. What is your take really, really quick on how you are feeling about the AI train that has left the station.
So I think the AI is useful, but I think when it comes to creativity, right, we need to own that. Like
Mhm,
AI can't write my book for me. You know what I mean? It's like it's
mhm.
my ideas. I enjoy the process of mulling over, and
Yes.
some part of my writing process is sitting down and doing this, and part of my writing process is pacing my desk in my office, putting together the scenarios and talking about and really delving into the emotions of the characters and which word
Mhm.
can I use there. I love wordplay. I'm a
Okay.
storyteller, and I have
Yes.
loved words since I was in the second grade. I won a storytelling contest,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
So for me, I can't do a AI book because it takes me out of the element of what my gift is meant to do. Now I can use AI to help with marketing and ideas or prompts. There's ways to use it.
Maybe
And I
research, or
say
maybe research.
exactly. Get on the
Mhm.
and you got to verify your research. Get
Yes.
on the train, right? But don't let it just take you anywhere. How about that?
Yes. I
Get on.
love that. Please. Real writers will write, and you
That's
can
right.
tell the difference. I have seen so many AI books and they're garbage and trash. I'm telling you, I'm like, okay, I can just tell. I can just tell. It's
Yeah.
like, and it getting to the point where everyone is like, oh, I'm so excited about it. I was like, but it sounds just like this. It sounds, or even like the looks. The looks look just like this. So
Yeah.
we've
Sounds
got to,
over and over again. It's like the same thing, the same
the
story, the
same
same
thing.
cadence, even.
It is the same cadence. I can
Mhm.
because you're a writer, you can't even see it. So I'm just telling people, you're out here in the world of AI, you
Yeah.
still need someone that's going to be your book coach, your writing coach. You're going to still need someone that's going to help you shape the story, especially if you're writing fiction. The you may say something like, "Oh, okay, me and Helen, we were clapping our fingers to a song. What were we in the 11th and 12th grade?" And it could be something, it could be a song that wasn't in 11th, 12th grade. If you think of the time, those are the kind of like little facts. It's like, okay, well, that song wasn't out then. That song
Right,
was out in
right.
that was out like last year. So how
Like,
you,
wait a minute.
so yeah, so little things like that are
Mhm.
in a really, really good book. I just want to know that it will become a movie. That's one of the things that novels will become movies. You'll be watching it at the show, you'll be watching on Netflix, whatever, Amazon Prime, it doesn't matter. You'll be maybe on Amazon. We're on Amazon Live, so Amazon
That's
Prime,
true.
pick it up.
Amazon
You
Prime.
know, that kind of thing. So they want to own the whole world anyway. So buy this too. Okay. They want to own the whole world. So buy that too. So where can they find more information about you, Renee? I want people to go and find out more information, be a part of your book lovers community. Where can they find more information?
Oh my God, my book lovers community on social media and at my website at reneedanielflagler.com. I'm about to redo the website, so you're going to be able to see the transition, but I spend a lot of time on Instagram,
Hmm.
Facebook,
Hmm.
TikTok, LinkedIn. I'm all over the place.
Okay, Miss
Come
Market. See
see
that?
me,
See.
like me, follow me, let's chat. I
And
could be
I'm sure you
funny
probably have a
sometimes.
newsletter and doing that kind of thing. And you're on
Mhm.
YouTube as well. So the marketing comes out. Let me tell you, authors, when you are writing a book, don't write it in a cave and then pop out. Make sure that you do some advanced planning for your marketing and your promotion. Okay. That is
Absolutely.
so, so important. So don't write in the cave and then jump out and just say, "Hey, here's my book." So no one's going to, they're going to be like, okay, so what's this about? Now you've got 6 months, you've got to explain your book, and you're thinking you should be selling it. So I just love what you're doing, and the work that you're doing at Cares Mentoring as well. Um,
It's
right
amazing
after
work.
that, and just wouldn't be remiss in saying that she's so brave right after the event, which her daughter passed. So I know there's probably Shayna, there's probably nothing harder that a parent can go through than
Mm-mm.
having their child, um, and Karen joined us not too long ago. Karen over there as well. Then to bearing your child. So, but
Oh,
I saw some of the Harriet Cole. I think she posted some information about it. It looked like it was really beautiful. But she's so graceful. Is she doing okay? Is she back? Where is she
such
now?
a strong woman, such a strong woman. And so, I mean, I think we can all learn something from her, but she's doing the best that
Yeah,
she can.
always has.
She's still there for the community. I mean, as cares. We're in the transition where she's stepping back and
Yeah,
going into her sabbatical, which she
yeah.
deserves. She's been working for
She's
55
80.
years, and she's
She's
80.
80.
You know,
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm
like
stepping up, and
she can
she's stepping
rest.
up.
She
Yeah,
can relax.
she gets time, right? She deserves that. She absolutely
Yes,
deserves it.
yes.
And we are we are taking her legacy and taking cares to the mountaintop. So
I love
make
that. That
sure
is,
people check out caresmentoring.org because we do amazing work.
you do. You really do. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you
Thank you.
for having me.
So, Renee, I will talk to you later. God bless you. And this is Pam Perry's Pick. Make sure that you get Unlikely Neighbors. And then the other books, too. She's written like about 30 books. No, but she's written a lot of books as well that I put down there as well. So make sure you get the and your poetry books as well. And invite her to speak. So you can go to ReneeDanielFlagler.com. Invite her to speak. Alrighty. God bless you. Talk to you later. Bye bye.
Yes.
Thanks.